Most of the time, collecting Transformers is a lot of fun. Let's get excited about the new figures coming down the pike. Let's talk about our favourite Transformers funny moment.
Your days are numbered now, Decepticreeps. No!
Let's tell jokes like how many Sharkticons does it take to change a light bulb, which to this day no Transformers fan has got any good punchline for. But sometimes we've got to talk about the darker side, money. The cost of collecting, and the sometimes suspect choices Hasbro makes in terms of what gets released and when. It's at these times that I, as a sort of Transformers YouTuber, feel compelled to make a video because, well, to be honest, in this case, I just woke up with my brain insisting you've got to make a video about this. It's like my subconscious had been concerned for a while and finally the dam broke and my conscious mind was inundated.
Something must be wrong!
The first thing is the announcement of a re-release of both Sunstreaker and Thrust from the previous War for Cybertron Earthrise line. Now, I know some people want to collect all the figures from a given line and that reissues are par for the course. It's why I put reissue in the name of my channel because it's a big part of collecting. But the timing of both these releases seemed, let's just say, questionable to me. We have known for a while from reliable sources that a version of Sunstreaker is coming out in Studio Series 86. Even if it's not a completely new mold, it will almost certainly correct the notorious mismatching of yellow from this Earthrise Sunstreaker, since the version of the character that came out in the Generations 5 pack has already done that. For anyone looking to get hold of a Sunstreaker, the advice would surely be wait for Studio Series 86. Now suddenly there is this previous version doing the rounds. Again, I understand there may be some collectors who want to focus on Earthrise and they missed him when he was first released, but why Sunstreaker? Why not Smokescreen or Trailbreaker or any of the other Autobot cars released in this line? You can probably guess where I'm going with this. Same thing with the re-release of Thrust. Ramjet also appeared again recently in the UK and at mainline retail to boot. When I saw Ramjet, I thought, he must be one of the coneheads a lot of people missed out on. And that may be true, but Thrust also? Now that I think about it, a few of the specialists had Dirge a couple of months back. Were all the War for Cybertron coneheads hard to source and good candidates for a re-release? I'm really leery about conspiracy thinking. I tend to believe people are generally more clueless than they are clever. But when it comes to Sunstreaker in particular, I can't help thinking this is a move designed to shift a few more units of this figure before the updated version comes out in Studio Series. Same thing with the coneheads. The consensus, and it's one that I agree with, is that the new Seeker mold for 86 is a near masterpiece level upgrade compared to the previous Seeker mold for Siege, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the coneheads will be benefiting from this redesign in the near future. I don't need to spell it out for you any further what I'm thinking. You can let me know if I'm paranoid in the comments. And let me know if you really have been craving those reissues of Sunstreaker and Thrust, and completing the Earthrise or War for Cybertron line is a focus for you. I've observed that unlike other collectors, Transformers fans tend to want the best example of something and sell on their older versions once the new one comes out, but I may be off on this, so please let me know. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the unfortunate price hike that is on the horizon and has already happened according to the wiki when it comes to the leader class. Deluxe figures will be going from $24.99 to $27.99 in 2026. This is in dollars. There'll be equivalent price hikes in other countries, obviously. Voyager from $34.99 to $42.99, and that leader price point has jumped from $54.99 to $59.99. Now, inflation is a real thing, and the current state of global trade relations being in the toilet, it's not helping. So who didn't see this coming? Looking back over the price point for the Studio Series since 2021, an increase of $2 or $3 every couple of years seems typical at this point. Sad but typical. But in this case, it's that jump in cost for the Voyager class, $34.99 to $42.99, an $8 increase. How is that justifiable? I'm not trying to be dramatic. I would seriously like to know if the deluxe and leader classes experience the sad but typical increase of $2 to $3, then why would the Voyager jump $8 in isolation? I've thought for a while that there's a fine line between deluxe and Voyager. When I look at my Voyager Ironhide and Ratchet next to Sunstreaker and Wheeljack, I'm thinking, yeah, they're bigger and the transformation is more complex, but I'm not sure they're worth that much more than the Deluxe. Now, if similar characters release in 2026, they are going to cost $42.99. I recently paid over the odds for a Perceptor re-release with Ratbat and Ramhorn, and it was painful to say the least. I've got a video coming out about that bundle on Friday, but I justified it to myself saying it's a special case. You won't be doing this very often. It's a trend that's really worrying, since for me the appeal of collecting Hasbro was that their figures maintained a somewhat toy-like price point compared to the third parties, you know. Figures for collectors, no doubt, but still toys, nominally. My real worry for the future is that these price increases will continue and eventually Hasbro will be of the view that these are premium collectors' items with a premium price point. It's all just worries, concerns, things that make you wake up and want to do a video. Not earth-shattering in the grand scheme of things, the cost of toys, but when you consider the cost of living and begin to assess what your priorities are, you do begin to wonder, just where will the breaking point be for collectors? We're not stupid. There will be one. And how close is Hasbro getting to tanking things just at the point where they're making figures, in my opinion, that are better than they've ever been? Wouldn't that be ironic? They start creating great action figures that people really want, only to price them out of the reach of the average collector. Ironic, yeah, but not entirely unexpected. Ultimately, it's worth remembering that companies are not our friends. They are in it to make a profit. And with profit comes the desire for, you guessed it, more profit. Find joy in the things you buy, spend the money if you can afford it, but don't be made a fool of. And at the point at which you feel exploited, it's time to get out. I'm not there quite yet, but as I say, these recent trends have made me think hard and dream and feel like making videos. Let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Nap Yet, and I'll be back on Friday.